Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Uh, I hope you're well. All right. So basically, I'm recording this video to help you understand the midterm exam and also how to approach the questions, especially on writing a summary. So this is the first video that I'm creating on summary writing to help you out in the midterm. So let's share my screen. All right, so first I want to show you the sample of a midterm question. So this question is available at the end of the booklet. The title is as Practice Text 5, and you can see the text here. All right, and the text is followed by two questions. The first question is, write a summary on the text title, Bridging the Digital Gender Divide. And the second question is obviously the opinion paragraph on the given topic. And it very clearly says that you have to use at least one piece of evidence from the given text with in-text citation and reference. All right, anyway, so my focus is on summary writing. So I directly start talking about how to write a summary. Well, when we have a piece of text and we are asked to write a summary, we have to basically follow certain steps. All right, so let's see the steps. The first step of summary writing is to actually annotate the text. All right, here, if you want to annotate, you have to uh, uh, use certain reading skills called skimming and scanning, and you have to write margin notes. All right, and in the second step, you have to start drafting the summary paragraph. And here you need some writing skills. For example, you need to first begin the summary with the central idea of the whole text, with appropriate citation of the author, with his last or her last name, and the date of publication. And after writing the first sentence, presenting the central idea of the whole text, then you start writing the main ideas of all the paragraphs, including the first introductory paragraph till the last concluding paragraph, and in between all the body paragraphs. So all should be uh, presented through one sentence. For each paragraph, you write actually one sentence. And the last sentence of the summary reflects the kind of suggestions or observation or recommendation of the author, as most of the essays will give you some problems. So problems are followed by solutions. That's natural. All right, the next step is actually kind of self-evaluation with checklist, where you basically focus on the length of the summary. Well, no, sorry. You basically focus on certain criteria that I will discuss later. And the final, consideration is the length of summary. Many of you are actually confused about the length of summary. As I have told in the classes, that the summary length basically will depend on the length of the essay in terms of paragraphs. So basically it is n plus 1. So n represents the number of paragraphs. For example, if you have a 5-paragraph essay to summarize, you probably will write 6 sentences. So the first sentence is an overall representation of all the ideas as a combined central idea. All right. And that means you have to write each paragraph's main idea in one sentence. So a number of sentences means n number of paragraphs actually, and one sentence for central idea. So it is altogether n plus one. And usually the central idea combine the main ideas of the first and last paragraph. That is approximately will help you to identify the central idea. So in most of the cases, students fail to include the central idea, just they partially do it by presenting the first paragraph's main idea, but forgets to include the last paragraph's main idea. So if you want to write a good beginning sentence for a summary presenting the central idea, you should consider both the main ideas of the first paragraph and the last paragraph. All right. Okay, let's begin. The fastest step, which is annotation. So you know how to annotate a text. Basically, annotation involves some uh, kind of using symbols and margin notes. Usually we underline the main ideas in text when we annotate. And if there are any examples, we put check marks. And to highlight the transitions, we put a box around the words or phrase. And if something is unclear or confusing, then we put a question mark. All right, so you know how to do annotations. I'm not going to focus on that much. Let's show you my annotation. So what you have to do is first, when you get the question paper, in the question paper, I expect that you will do annotation here, all right, especially this text. And you should put numbers beside each of the paragraphs from first to the last, all right? For example, see here, I have put all the paragraphs in a table. You do not need to put them in a table during the exam, just I'm doing it for convenience to show you highlighting the main ideas and their margin notes. All right, so and margin notes are very important to write during annotation. So I expect that you write at least the margin notes and highlight underline the main idea of each of the paragraph. So see how I underlined them, all right? So what I did, the first paragraph, after reading the first sentence, I understand that, okay, fine. First we have to actually focus on the title, all right? Because the title gives us the kind of the gist or the overall, topic or content. All right. So by reading the title, we understand that bridging the digital gender divide. So we understand digital gender means, male, female difference, and divide is actually gender represents the, two aspects of gender, male and female perspectives, and divide is the gap. So it is actually gender-based digital gap or disparity. And the writer is actually discussing how to bridge them. Bridge means to connect, all right, how or fill out the gap. So this text is probably going to be about how gender uh, gap based on digital facilities could be bridged or linked with each other, something like that. All right. So if you read the first sentence, we understand that this is the problem. It is saying that despite the government's ambitious digital Bangladesh agenda, it's a kind of policy, a significant digital gender disparity. Disparity means gap, right, or divide. So disparity gap persists in the country. So this is the problem. And leaving women at a disadvantage in accessing and using ICT tools compared to men. So it clearly shows there is a problem between men and women in terms of accessing digital ICT tools, etc. So the writer in the next sentence said this actually indicating the digital divide, gender-based divide. And here in the three words later, there actually represents the women. So this not only limits their participation in the digital economy, but also hinders their overall socio-economic progress. So I think this is the main idea of this first paragraph. Well, we have not got the central idea yet, because this is part of the central idea, which is actually the writer is claiming that this digital divide actually hinders women from participation in the economic, which is much more digitalized nowadays. And overall, their socioeconomic progress is actually limited and is somehow restricted because of this gender divide. All right, now the writer describes a little bit more. Actually, what does he mean by this socioeconomic progress? Then he clarifies that the digital gender divide has restricted women's access to education, then knowledge gap between men and women, then lowered their female participation in labor force or economy, and it overall hinders the economic progress of the country. So basically, uh, this essay is going to be about what kind of restrictions women actually face and what is the nature of this gender-based digital divide. So in the later paragraphs, the writer actually highlights each of these problems that I have highlighted here with blue color, all right, in the later paragraphs. So we'll read them later, but I want to focus on now the sixth paragraph, which is the last paragraph or concluding paragraph. Here we see that the writer actually suggesting some recommendations provided by BIGD, which is basically research organization who publish research and to conduct research on different policy issues. So BIGD study further recommends continuing government investment. That means BIGD is actually emphasizing government's further investment in women's education and raising rural awareness of the importance of digital literacy for everyone, including men and women. So that's the solution. I mean, how we can actually improve the situation, the problem of gender-based digital divide. So I guess this is the main idea. And what I did, I wrote down the main idea in a phrase, all right, beside each of the paragraph. You can see here, I have actually first written down the main head of the first paragraph as digital gender divide and restricted female participation and socioeconomic growth. Basically, this is the uh, marginal note for the sentence that I have underlined here in the middle of the first paragraph. Then let's move on to the second paragraph. And in the second paragraph, naturally, the first sentence of each of the paragraph gives us the topic sentence. So they actually contain the main idea. So what I did, I underlined the first paragraph, second paragraph's first sentence as a second paragraph's main idea and written down the marginal note. All right. So you can see here, and the blue and red colored text are basically the supporting ideas or supporting details. All right, just to make you understand that how actually I got this, ideas clarified using the supporting ideas. All right, so gender divide means just gender disparity. All right, and here the second paragraph's main idea says that the digital gender divide has limited women's access to educational opportunity. So we understand access to educational opportunity, which is basically right to have education through digital, facilities, which is limited for women. Basically, this is the idea. So here, the main idea I have written in the marginal note as reduce women's participation in education. Gender divide, digital gender divide reduces women's participation in education. So a suitable phrase I have written here. Then the next paragraph's main idea, which is women's limited access to ICT has also led to economic disparities between men and women. So again, it is economic, earning or economic related uh, gap or kind of disparity between men and women because of ICT related access. So I have written women's ICT limited ICT access resulting in which is an outcome basically in unequal earning opportunities. That means, and here we have an example, see, Shirin Sultana, all right? So basically, it shows how women, because of lack of ICT facilities, earn less compared to their male counterparts. All right, so again, the next paragraph, the main idea is inequality in digital access between genders also has a profound effect on women's health and well-being. So it is about health and well-being, and health and well-being, when we discuss, basically they include both physical health and mental health, and also it includes the family, health outcomes for them and their family. So again, it is actually a very big issue. So I have identified the margin note as disproportionate digital opportunities affecting females' well-being, that is their mental and physical health, both are affected. All right, so negatively, basically. So you understand the main idea here. The next paragraph's main idea, which is paragraph number 5, I have identified that women's limited use of technology use is a cause is an outcome which is caused by the prejudiced or narrow conservative mindset of the society. So if you look at the first sentence, due to social norms means social beliefs, social mindset, social attitude, etc. And women are less likely to use technology. That means because of the women society's outlook or perspectives or attitude, women actually use less digital technology. So and all sort of technology, actually, not only digital. All right, so I have written women's limited use of technology because of or due to prejudiced beliefs and conservative mindset of the society, all right, which is responsible basically for this. And the last paragraph's main idea is here the writer actually suggesting, referring to an research organization that which is basically increasing governmental incentive. Incentive means some kind of investment for women's education and social awareness raising. And what is it about? It is actually digital literacy, social awareness about digital literacy in general. I mean, for both and women, for both men and women. All right. So this is how the writer actually ends the essay. So now we have actually uh, annotated the text. All right. And I could not do all the annotation because I'm doing it on a computer. All right. So the next phase is basically, but you have to do it, I mean, with pen and paper, all right, and follow the rules of annotation. So now the second step is actually writing, and see how I have written the summary paragraph. So how we should start a summary. I hope you understand that to write a summary, we have to first write the central idea of the text in the first sentence, and this is the first sentence of the uh, summary paragraph, which is also in this case the topic sentence for the summary paragraph. All right, so in this topic sentence, what we do, we include the central idea of the whole text. All right, and how do we start? We start the author's last name. All right, so where you will get the author's names? You will get the author's names basically on top of the question paper, especially on top of the text. This is Nilima Jahan. So Jahan is the last name and Nilima is the first name. You understand this is a female writer, all right, because of the name. And this is the date of publication. And this is the title of the text. And this is the source, which is the Daily Star, basically newspaper as a source. And this is the online, link, which is again the online source or URL. All right, so we have 4 information here. So using the author's last name, we actually begin. And I have written Jahan is the last name, and the date of publication is 2023. And these are the action verbs. All right, action verbs or reporting verbs. Some people say reporting verbs. I can show you in the booklet. You have a list of reporting verbs, so which help us to write down the summary, especially when we use author's tag. All right, I hope you understand what is author's tag. Author's tag are basically author's, connection. All right, so these are the, verbs that we usually use. So I picked up some of the verbs from here, and just memorizing a few, you can actually write down good summary. All right, so you can see I just use points out. I have underlined each of the author tag and the verbs. All right, so Jahan is the last name. Then I have used the date of publication in bracket, and this is called citation, in-text citation. All right, so using in-text citation, I have written down the central idea, and look at the central idea, which is italics here. All right, you do not need to write italics, just I wrote it to show you highlighting this. So the central idea is that the existing digital gender divide in Bangladesh hinders the comprehensive, that means overall, okay, comprehensive socioeconomic development of women and offers solutions. And writer doesn't only just discusses the problems, but also shows us the solutions or recommends some solutions. That's why I have written and offers solutions to this new challenge. All right, so digital divide is a challenge, and so the writer actually provides a solution to the challenge. So this is the central idea of the whole essay, and I have used one sentence for that. Now, what I have to do, I have to start with all the paragraph's main ideas. So when we begin each of the paragraph's main idea, we use the transition. So I have used first, all right, and put a comma. And using the author tags, like the author claims, then I've written the first paragraph's main idea. So I have written the author claims that the digital gender divide restricts female participation in the digital economy, and it slows down social and economic growth of women. So if you look at the first paragraph's main idea, you'll see that digital gender divide and it restricts female participation and socio-economic growth. So this idea has been transformed into a sentence now. So I have written the sentence C. So this is my first paragraph's main idea with author tags and transition. All right, so this is the first paragraph's main idea. I've written one sentence for that. Then again, I move on and write down the second paragraph's main idea, and using a transition, using author's tag, I've written that the current digital inequality. All right, so this essay is about digital inequality or disparity. So I've written digital inequality instead of repeating the word digital divide. Okay, now digital inequality. Okay, so this digital inequality reduces access to educational opportunities for women to a great extent, as women have less access to mobile phones. If you look at the second paragraph, it discusses how, women having less access to digital gadgets like mobile phones actually are suffering, and in terms of having less education, all right, or no educational opportunities. And here we have a story of, student, all right, so you can connect it. Okay, anyway, so now I have written the third sentence with then. All right. So then the author demonstrates, another author tag, that because of women's less access to ICT, they earn less than their male counterparts. So if you go to the third paragraph, you can see that it tells us a story how women actually get less money because of having less access to ICT. All right. So women's limited ICT access results in unequal earning opportunities. Right? So I have written this sentence into a third sentence here. All right. All right. So then look at the fourth sentence. Here I haven't used the transitional word in the beginning, rather transition is in the middle here also. All right. So I wrote an according to her, the writer, these disproportionate digital opportunities based on gender also affect uh, uh, affect the overall physical and mental well-being in the of the female members of our society. So if you remember, the fourth paragraph here discusses how women are suffering, well-being issues, all right, physical and mental well-being because of having less access to digital, uh, I mean, uh, opportunities or digital access, all right. So what I did, I wrote down the fourth sentence here. According to the author, at McHart, this disproportionate, which is not equal, digital opportunities based on gender. How men and women have different opportunities actually, here, also affect the the overall physical and mental well-being of the family members of the society. It shows the two different set of opportunities for men and women and how their well-beings are actually affected, all right, because of this lacking. And the next paragraph's main idea, I have again used another transition here after that. And the author's text, she explains what she explains that the prejudice belief, which is actually the social mindset, okay, and conservative mindset, okay, so towards women are mainly responsible for limited use of technology by the females in our society. It is actually representative of the next paragraph. So, women's limited use of technology because of, I mean, due to prejudice beliefs and conservative mindset of the society. Okay, so this has been actually written here. Now I have the last paragraph's main idea, which is the concluding paragraph. So I want to conclude the summary with this particular paragraph's main idea. So I read it on in sum, which is a linking word, not a transition, it's a linking word basically. The author concludes by recommending, because we know that last paragraph is something where somewhere the writer was giving a recommendation or suggestion. So it is concluded, and the author has concluded by recommending increasing governmental incentive for women's education and investing more resources or money or others, okay, to enhance social awareness about digital literacy in general and for men and women. So this is the main idea of the last paragraph, if you see. Okay, so I have underlined the main idea here, and this is the margin note, and this margin note has been transferred into the last sentence. All right, so this is how we can write a beautiful summary paragraph for any essay or article. And if you look at the paragraph, it has got n plus 1 number of sentences. That is, here we have 6 paragraphs. So I have written basically 7 sentences for the summary. And this is an appropriate length for summary writing. And if you look at the end, as I have cited here the author, Jahan 2023, so I had to produce the reference here. Again, this is the last name of the author and comma, then the author's first name and its initial. So N is Nilima, it stands for Nilima. Okay, so N dot. So all dots or all full stops are actually separating different information. So name is separated from the date with the full stop. See, again, the date is separated from the title with a full stop. The title is separated from the source with full stops, and the two sources, which is the newspaper and the URL, which is online address. Okay, so these are also separated by full stops. All right, if you look at the title, here is an specialty that the title is written in sentence case. That means like a sentence. The first words, first letter is a capital letter, and the rest of the words are actually small letters. All right. So usually we write sentences like this, but if there is a proper name in between, then we can use fast. For example, if there was a word like, there were any word like Bangladesh in the middle of the sentence, then we wrote down B as a big letter, okay, caps lock. All right. Anyway, and the source is always written as a title case. That means each of the words first letter will be a caps lock, capital letter, and it is italicized, not regular. It's not normal. It's actually a bit slanting compared to the other text. All right. So if you have problem in writing italics, then I suggest you to put an underlined below the source. All right, instead of writing italics, if you have problem with that. All right, so the title of the work is written as a sentence case, and the source is written as title case, and the URL is just written as given on the text, on top of the text. All right, so this is how we do write the reference. All right, and this is I'm following APS 7th edition. You can check in their website. All right. So now it is time to actually check whether we have written a good summary paragraph. Okay, how? We can follow a checklist. So this is a checklist I have created, consulting the rubric. There is a rubric in your booklet. All right, you can check the rubric for marks distribution. But I have made a simple checklist for summary writing. So the first criteria in the checklist is have I written a clear introductory sentence which includes the author's last name, year of publication, and an effective central idea? So I hope you understand that I have actually met all the criteria here. The author's last name, the date, and the central idea of the whole text has been written in one sentence. So this is the first sentence of summary. Now, the second criteria is, have I included all the main ideas of different paragraphs? Here I mean introductory paragraph, body paragraphs, and the concluding paragraph, all. And for each of the paragraphs main idea, we write one sentence and we maintain a sequence here. Right. So yes, I have shown you how I sequenced all the ideas in terms of paragraphs. For each paragraph, I have written one sentence, and each of the sentence begins with the transitions. The transitions actually show the sequence of the main ideas in terms of sequence of the paragraphs. All right. So the next criteria is, have I maintained author's tags and appropriate reporting or action verbs consistently throughout the summary? Yes, I have used them. You can check the underlined words actually shows that I have used author tags. Every time I have written, tagging the author, all right. Even the last sentence is also using an author tag. The author concludes, all right. So yes, I have maintained that. Then the next criteria is, have I used appropriate transitions to sequence the main ideas? Yes, obviously I have used. You can check the transitions I've highlighted first, next, then here also after that. So these are all actually transitions, and they show a sequence of ideas. Then the next criteria is, have I paraphrased the main ideas in my own language? Yes, I have done that because I did not copy the sentences as given in the text. And when we write a summary, you are not supposed to copy any text. Rather, you should paraphrase them, and you should avoid adding more details. Rather, you should focus on the main ideas only. All right. So don't include any example from the summary in your summary paragraph. All right. And it is good not to have, include any example from the text in the summary. All right. And then the next criteria is, have I used a variety of sentence structure and good range of words and or synonyms instead of repeating them? Yes. Yes. If you look at the paragraph, you can see that in the summary, I have tried to use synonymous words instead of writing digital divide. I have written digital disparity or maybe sometimes inequality. All right. And if you look at the sentence patterns, they are varied. Some sentences are complex, some are compound. All right. So I have maintained sentence variety. I didn't write just simple sentences. Then last criteria is, have I included a reference, which is very important because I have cited the author. So when you cite anyone, whether you write a summary or a paragraph, whatever you write, or essay, whatever you write, when you cite someone, it is your responsibility to write a reference. So don't forget to write a reference at the end. To write a reference, you need 4 information. You need the author's name, you need the date of publication, you need the title of the work, and you need the source information. So all these are written here. You can see following certain pattern, which is prescribed by APA 7th edition. All right, so I hope you understand the process of summary editing. And if you have any question, you can ask me during the class. All right, so thank you very much. Or you can also ask me through Slack. All right, I'll post the link in Slack and also send you through your emails. So if you have given me your email IDs, then you're supposed to get the link. All right, so this is the first question that you have to deal with in your midterm exam. All right, so I will create a second video on paragraph writing, opinion paragraph writing. All right, so till then, good luck. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you understood the process. All right, and this is the summary of the text. All right, so good luck.